coming down. Fillers coming up and coming down. And I thought to myself, I could do that until I started. It was a little bit more difficult. I realized that I have to get in shape a little bit. But you know, that's how life is. Anytime you have a vision that's inside of you, it looks easy to achieve. And when you take another step towards it, you realize that it's a little further away than you expected. But you know, I looked at that climb as a motivation and a reminder of what life is. That life is an opportunity. And when we surround ourselves with the right people, because when I thought I was gonna faint for a moment, the director, Godfrey Smith, was just below me, and somehow I got a little more wind beneath my wings. And then I looked down, I saw more of the Freeport Container Port team, Sherry Rogers and all those, and they were saying, hey, hey, let's do that as a people. Let's celebrate those who dare to be different, submit to excellence, and believe in the power of team. I'm Debbie Bartlett. Thanks for watching. Good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, a mother looking for answers regarding alleged police brutality. A special ceremony taking place in the 8 Mile Rock community. And the BCB's newest executive chairman on the island to meet with staff. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Megan Shepard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tonight, a mother is claiming that her sons have been the target of the local police and just this past Saturday have been severely beaten. Tonight, she speaks with our Shashina Rowe-Farquharson about her concerns.
A mother is alleging that her 2 sons were severely beaten and arrested outside of their home in the 8 Mile Rock community on Saturday. Tonight, she says that she's at her wit's end and she is demanding answers. Danica Johnson alleges that on Saturday, her son pulled into her yard, followed by the police.
I ain't do nothing. Y'all lay him on the ground.
I then came outside and I asked the question, what did my son do? The officer pulled the gun in my face. I asked the officer, take the gun off of me, take the gun out of my face. The officer said, JC didn't do anything. JC is innocent. I didn't come here for JC. I said to the officer, if you didn't come for JC, then why are you here? The officer then picked up his radio, get on the radio, and he said, I need backup, backup. Backup then came.
She claims that her other son, who was taking a bath, rushed outside, also questioning police on what was taking place.
The officer then take my son by his 2 feet. That one didn't have on no shirt at all. He dragged him from partly half of my yard. Couple of the officers dragged him straight out to the wall. And when they dragged him out to the wall, the neighborhood was telling them that they were wrong for what they done.
Johnson alleges that the abuse continued at the station, where the public made loud outcries demanding answers from the officers as to why the two men were arrested.
They then cut off the lights and they beat my son. They beat the two of them, but they beat one so bad. He was an asthmatic patient as a child. He couldn't breathe for almost like an hour. The ambulance was there.
Now, this mother was honest with our ZNS News team, and she says that her sons are not saints. But she says that is no reason for police officers to continually harass them without cause.
Children are like this. It's about 10 of them, and one is a sister. If you fight a brother, they're gonna gang you. They don't have right now, they don't have on no, one of them don't have on no shoes, and I feel just like he's the barefoot bandit. Jesus, God can vindicate this one for me, because I can't fight this all alone by myself.
Now she is calling on the authorities to stop what she claims is unfair targeting and the harassment of her two sons.
Make me feel that I would like for the Commissioner of Police to put a stop to their officers, because what I've seen take place within the last 2 months, and I was crying out for help. I went to complaint center and I spoke to Mr. Cunningham. He said the next time the officers come to your children the wrong way, recorded them, and I did just so. So this time now, I feel like I need to make it to ZNS News, because I still feel like I'm not getting nowhere.
Now, the two young men were charged in the 8 Mile Rock court with 2 counts of assaulting a police officer, causing damage to a police vehicle, disorderly behavior, 2 counts on that charge, and resisting arrest. Shashina Rule-Farquharson, ZNS Network News.
Now, Police Press Liaison Officer Assistant Superintendent Stephen Roll responding to those serious allegations.
The officers at the 8 Mile Rock area made attempts to stop a vehicle that they suspected to be in possession of illegal drugs and firearm. The vehicle in question would have sped off at a high rate of speed, which resulted in a chase by the officers. The vehicle eventually came to a stop at a residence in Jonestown, where the lone driver would exit. And upon him exiting the vehicle, he began to act in a disorderly manner towards the officers. He was later joined by a family member who also began to act disorderly to the officers, also causing some material damage to the police vehicle. After a brief struggle with the 2 males, they were eventually arrested and taken to the 8 Mile Rock police station, where it's reported that they continued to act disorderly in the police station.
And here's what he says when it comes to the claims of police brutality.
Anyone having a complaint against a police officer, the Complaints and Corruption Branch of the police force is a unit that deals with complaints against police officers. So if you have a complaint against a police officer, that is the branch you will need to visit, and that is located at the Gerald Bartlett Law Enforcement Complex. So those of you who have a legitimate complaint, visit that branch, and your matter will be dealt with expeditiously and in a professional manner. But to add to that, I don't want the public to feel that it's okay to go around assaulting any police officer who is in the execution of their duties. It's also an offense, and you will be arrested for those matters if you find yourself in breach as well.
In other news now, a special ceremony taking place today in Pinedale, 8 Mile Rock. Government officials, local pastors, and members of the community turning out to say a big thank you to the Israel Aid for donating hurricane-resistant windows to the Pinedale Community Center and for their assistance to the people of Grand Bahama in the wake of Hurricane Dorian. Our Rumiko Knowles was there.
It was a grand occasion for members of the Church of God of Prophecy in 8 Mile Rock, residents of the area, as well as for members of Israel Aid. National Overseer Bishop Franklin Ferguson says he's thankful to the nonprofit organization for their support over the years.
Over the years, they have been doing a number of things, including right now they've completed new showers, they've provided generators, and they are supporting an after-school program which will be for the benefit of the children of this community. Of course, with the pandemic that has been another setback for our children in this community. And so today, the Church of God of Prophecy and the 8 Mile Rock community is very pleased to have Israel Aid coming.
Permanent Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, Harcourt Brown, bringing remarks on behalf of the Prime Minister, the area Member of Parliament, and the Minister for Grand Bahama.
We are so humbled by the gifts, by the support that has been extended to us by Israel Aid. We appreciate so much the service to mankind that you continue to personify. We thank you so much because we know that as a small country, when we're faced with these kinds and these sorts of challenges, it is the international community that have always come to our assistance. And Israel Aid has certainly done their part and will continue to do their part.
Israel non-resident ambassador to the Bahamas, His Excellency Savaitai, noting that shortly after taking his position, Hurricane Dorian struck the northern Bahamas, and he was asked to submit a proposal for immediate humanitarian response, which resulted in a long-term water management intervention that concluded last August. He says their aim now is to improve the resilience of vulnerable populations.
Along the constant strengthening of the bilateral relations between the State of Israel and the Commonwealth of the Bahamas at the institutional level, it has been the long-standing desire of the Embassy of Israel, accredited to the Bahamas, to bring the people of the Bahamas closer to the Israeli reality and people through their local emissaries, in this case, the wonderful volunteers of Israel Aid. Please thank them together with me.
Following the ceremony, presentations were made to the ambassador and refreshments were served. Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
The Broadcasting Corporation's newly appointed executive chairman visiting the Northern Service today. The veteran broadcaster and former politician encouraging the staff to go beyond the call of duty as they aim to take the corporation to the next level. The newly appointed executive chairman of the Broadcasting Corporation, Picewell Forbes, meeting with staff members of the Northern Service, bringing with him a charge to continue to raise the standards at the corporation. Forbes commending the award-winning staff in the North for their continued commitment to the news industry. While noting that he is aware of challenges within the corporation, he assured staff members that, as long as they continue to shine, be productive, creative, and go above and beyond, they will earn their due rewards.
The world of media has changed. Social media drives hard media. And if you're not ready to go in that area that's talking about, you done work your hours and you want to come to work and this and that, but we have to redesign some things. So some people's contract can't be renewed. We got to be honest with ourselves. And we got to have an honest discussion with the trade unions. We are in a competitive environment, and I can't go to the Prime Minister every month to get another $200,000 of people who only want to come to work 9 to 5 and go home. We got to be honest. I want people who we could give double income and soon promote them. You ain't got to come and tell people like me, I go on from announcer to deputy director to deputy general manager. I ain't going through all them bunch of da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. If you're good, we're going to promote you.
Forbes also noting that program creation and production will be a priority going forward.
And I want you all to engage us in this process. Where those young people who are coming out of BTVI or UB, or young people who are abroad who are returning home, who are smart, who want to create content. And I don't need them actually to have their actual bodies in our workspace. People want to create something, say for example, look at Grand Bahama. Your blue holes, the whole thing with Equinor up there, all that oil to do. Those are features I always tell people, those kind of events, they're always relevant when it comes to especially the climate change development these days. What is happening with home repair, the restoration post-Dorian in East Grand Bahama. If you do, see, no matter who would have done those stories, you have your own angle to tell your story. And you can go on and win an award and what have you, and you could go on Hulu and Netflix and everything else and also be in this international film thing. I want people who are thinking differently.
The self-titled hometown boy from Andros also using the analogy to challenge staff members to decide whether they will be the propellers to push the corporation forward or not. He says that ZNS has always been the news leader in the country, and now is the time to be the regional news leaders.
We've got to find a way to recast ourselves, to rebrand ourselves, so that the Bahamas, and by extension, the region and the world could know that ZNS is back on the block in no small way, but a meaningful way. And you have got to be the engine and very much a part of that process that takes the corporation forward. You're either going to be a propeller or you're going to be an anchor. And we've got to make a decision starting today, whether the Northern Service and the staff, and this complementary person who make up the staffing here, are going to be either a propeller or you're going to be an anchor. And you all know exactly what I'm talking about. You're anchoring me, you're keeping me back, you're holding me hostage. Productivity level is tied to the union packages and conditions, and you're not going above and beyond. You want to call in sick and don't want to come to work, don't want to be productive and creative, but you expect. You want to meet what I call the basic threshold. That could no longer do for the corporation in the 21st century and beyond.
The veteran broadcaster adding that this new position as executive chairman will be his legacy. To that end, he shares his hopes for the Northern Service.
We'd love to see you all have your own building. That's a pipe dream, I guess. We'd like to see you have your own building. We'll want to see better equipment. We want to see funding. But I'm a person of faith and hope. But you could have faith and hope and everything else, but if you don't work to make it happen, we'll continue to have problems. Watch the requested time off and holidays and be creative, work hard, do your best. God knows it. ZNS needs you for us to win. We got to win.
As investigations continue into that fire in the International Bazaar, residents are also weighing in on what that property meant for the island during its heyday. They share what they would like to see happen in the future. The International Bazaar is a landmark in the center of the island. It was once a place for shopping, dining, entertainment, and much more. However, for over a decade, the property has been in a state of deterioration. Now, while the bazaar remains largely unoccupied by businesses, the chef at a nearby restaurant just at the rear of the bazaar, Sean Smith, shares his experience during the recent fire that erupted over the weekend.
It was traveling. So the Baku team, Syndex, whoever, fire department, assistant came and helped out. And they had to come in the back here first to stop it from jumping over here so we could save the rest of the building. So I'm the chef here. And so we was very concerned if you jump over here, you know, gas lines and things like that would cause a different exposure. But they did a good job. So I commend them.
Following the recent blaze, residents are reflecting on the economic and cultural impact the bazaar once made on the island.
If you were around that era, around the 80s or so, like, you know, the bazaar was a big thing around here. In terms of not just for foreign guests coming in, but it was employment for so many people around there. It gave a different sense. I mean, if you can remember the Taj Mahal, the casino, the Lake of Flights, the midnight flights, it was all because of that right there. The casino buffets and dances, and you know, I had a number of friends and stuff like that over the years that actually they gained employment there. I had friends, fathers or mothers that actually, whether, you know, management or work there or did some type of employment there. But so the bazaar, not just the casino part of it, but the whole part of the bazaar was like a cultural aspect for Grandmama. A lot of stuff revolved around that.
And it's a shame to say what the bazaar is today compared to what it used to be. I was coming up towards the holidays now. The bazaar used to be the spot to go, but now no more bazaar, so it's like just a waste now. But it used to be a good thing.
Now, several calls for the demolition of the property have been made by residents over the years, many calling it an eyesore and a sad reminder of what once was. These residents share what they would like to see happen to the dilapidated buildings.
I think they should just break the whole thing down and come up with something new, because those buildings and stuff, I understand, from the early 60s or something somewhat like that, right? So yeah, I think they should break it down.
Rebuilt, I wouldn't say so much. I mean, right now, everything's evolving. To rebuild it and just reconstruct the same thing that was there, time's passed. So if it was there and it was still functional, I'm sure by now it would have evolved, because, you know, it's spent its time. The new model for hotels is a little different from past models, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't expect it to be rebuilt. I would actually, you know what I mean, they do the construction on it and have a new and more revived type structure at the end of the day. Something that's more appealing and more time at the times, you know.
I wish the whole Bazaar rebuilt, but it's up to the association to find these people to get it done, right? But as far as you know, you have Girls Gone Wild back there. You have Will's Barber Shop. And you have us. So we're the only... And then you have the fish market. You know, we're only live in Trinity and the back here. So I wish, if I had the money, I'd do it myself. But
Stay with us. There's still more news to come right after this break.
Come on down. Come on down now.
Plan to have your Thanksgiving lunch or dinner at Off the Deep Edge Restaurant, Suite number 19 Peel Street. Call 352-1664 or WhatsApp 807-3400 to book your table.
Pandora is having a Black Friday sale. Save 30% from November 24th through the 30th. Shop Pandora this holiday season and save.
We believe that you should be able to stay connected with your friends and family without breaking the bank. You're the reason we opened our doors 5 years ago to give you the best value and services and to connect you with your friends internationally and on family islands. Thank you for choosing us.
Everything about Alive revolved around our customers. We don't want you to settle for better. We want you to have the best. Because of this, we've built a world-class network that outshines the competition. We placed an emphasis on excellent customer service because you deserve to have a positive experience. We value you. And as a truly Bahamian company, we are here to serve you in the best way we can. Thank you for 5 years, and we look forward to serving you in the future.
King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your number one news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. And now to this story of success from ZNS Northern Service. Employee Shanae Strawn shares her journey of obtaining her master's degree in the United Kingdom over the past year. Despite completing the program during the pandemic, she says it was an amazing experience. 30-year-old Shanae Strawn is back home and back to work at the ZNS Northern Service after a one-year master's program in the United Kingdom. Strawn was the recipient of the United Kingdom's High Commission's Chevening Scholarship and was afforded the opportunity to attend Portsmouth University.
I did my schooling from my studio. Because of lockdown, it was virtual. So the first part of the experience all the way into May was pretty much just lockdown, to be honest. And then I went to London on spring break and moved to London to finish my schooling and the rest of my achieving journey.
Strawn says that due to the ongoing pandemic and imposed restrictions, her return to college was not the typical experience.
When you think of going back to school, you picture the experience of being on campus and in a profession like film, like seeing people face to face, because that's why, you know, I really wanted to go off, is to connect with other like creatives and stuff like that. But like the experience wasn't what I expected, but in the end, it still turned out to be an amazing experience. So how it worked in lockdown, everything was literally virtual. So we as producers had to improvise. Like I had to produce a film completely virtual, not having to meet my classmates, not having to meet my professors. And it was a challenge, but the good thing about the challenge is that we had to work together to make the film completed. Because when we went into lockdown, like the restrictions of the film changed. So improvise, because you still have to produce even though you have these government restrictions.
Following the completion of the program, Strawn obtained her master's degree in producing film and television. After being with the corporation for some 3 years now, she shares her goals going forward.
My vision, like what I hope for next is for me is like really just be like a driving force for content creation. Like Monday through Friday, we're just pushing out consistent quality content, from reality shows to short form battles like Power 104.5 shows and different things like that. I really just want us to produce consistent quality Bahamian content that not only we broadcast to the Bahamas but the world. You know, I want the Northern Service to be that home for content development and creation.
And to other young professionals who may be considering returning to the classroom, she has this advice.
Make sure your intentions are right. Be passionate about what you do and trust in God that everything will fall into place.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News. And now it is time for a check on sports with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe and welcome to sports. Well, sports is slowly picking up here on Grand Bahama. As for tennis, there's been somewhat of a delay. We spoke to Natishka Barrett, president of the Grand Bahama Tennis Association, who gave us this update. The Fogle Junior National Tennis Tournament that was scheduled to begin this week at the YMCA Tennis Courts has been postponed. President of the Grand Bahama Tennis Association, Natishka Barrett, says the news comes as a disappointment after multiple attempts to secure approvals.
We scheduled it to this month and we were optimistic about having it. However, after writing to various government officials and reaching out to them, we were unable to get a written response. And in writing, we always share our protocols, and our protocols would have been not just the regular hand sanitization, but also making the event a non-spectator event and ensuring that all players would have had a negative COVID test. And it's because we did not get a response. I reached out to a health official who explained that when the emergency orders expired, the requirement states that all participants have to be vaccinated.
Barrett adds that it's unclear as to what is required to host sporting events on the island.
I understand that organizers of sporting events have moved ahead with having several sporting events in Grand Bahama, and I understand that perhaps exemptions have been given, so I'm actually appealing for somebody to make it clear, for the process to be streamlined so that all organizations, not just the GBTA, but all organizations would have an equal chance of having these sporting activities, because I believe that in partnership with the government, we can continue to advance sports for children and advance their development through sports.
Switching gears now, in college basketball, junior college player Chris Johnson continuing to put up some impressive numbers at Catonsville Community College, playing in the Maryland Junior College Athletic Conference. In his last game, Johnson scored 13 points, going 6 of 12 from the field, while adding 8 rebounds in 33 minutes. So far on the year, he's averaging 13 points on 46% shooting from the field in 5 games played. And finally, in sports, big weekend ahead for basketball in Bimini. The NCAA Women's Basketball Gombe Splash is set to begin this Thursday at the Gateway Christian Academy Gymnasium. Teams competing this year will be the University of Washington, Virginia Commonwealth University, and the University of North Carolina. And that's a quick check on sports. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
Are you looking for good vibes? In search of great food? Buddy Bucket's Restaurant and Lounge in the R&B and C Plaza is the place where you call the shots. Telephone 828-9188. Head on over and enjoy.
Are you tired, overweight, having trouble sticking to your head nest? To bring you Health Bites. This and every Thursday, tune in, and we'll make sure you get on track and stay on track with your health and fitness goals. Tune in.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North.
Nita Munnings, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We thank you so much for your continued support. And we'd also like to wish a very special happy birthday to our very own Kirk Cooper. Continue to enjoy. That's going to do it for us here in the North, but be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Megan Shepard. Have a wonderful evening.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the National Report, the new year to bring changes to the government spending plan. An appeal to the private sector. Where are we with herd immunity? And a suspected smuggling ring foiled. The Bahamas tonight, the National Report starts now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC Super Fast Internet for Less. Best rate, no debate. Sign up today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lapinder. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for joining us. The government putting the final touches on its supplementary budget, debate on which will open next week. In this report, our Jiminita Swain gives us a preview of how the local economies expected to shape up.
Things are certainly not as bad as they were, but Bahamians are still hoping to save on every dollar, and so is the government as it takes on the task of further improving the economy. So far, though, the numbers show that the deficit has shrinked, if only a bit.
Casting a reduction in the deficit from, I think, what was just about $950 million in the budget that was presented in June to about $850 in our revision, so a slight reduction in the deficit.
Minister of Economic Affairs, Senator the Honorable Michael Alquitas, sharing as much with reporters ahead of the debate on the supplementary budget, which opens in the House of Assembly on Monday. As Alquitas tells it, that budget also takes into account the expected rise in recurrent expenditure. And here's what's behind the increase.
A big part of it is an increase in the social assistance. Take into account the extension of the National Insurance Special Unemployment Program. It was due to expire in September. It's been extended to December. Provisions will be made for the increase in public service pensions and as well for the lump sum payment to those who are on the National Insurance Unemployment Program.
The capital budget will also be adjusted
to reflect what the actual reality is in terms of being able to execute those projects. So you'll see a reduction in that budget. Doesn't mean that projects are being canceled. It just means that we're reflecting what will be spent in this budget cycle. And you'll see an increase in the recurrent expenditure.
If all goes as planned, the supplementary budget will be debated and passed within the first week of December to take effect January 1st. Jimenita Swain, ZNS Network News.
Well, thanks, Jimenita. The government may have, meantime, ironed out a plan in the case of workers on the 52-week program, particularly those hired just ahead of the September 16th general election. State Minister of Public Service, the Honourable Pio Glover-Roll, recently disclosed that 230 workers were engaged at the end of July. Another 85 were on hold as there was nowhere to place them, while 68 are reporting to work but have some issues with attendance. According to the minister, here's how the private sector can assist.
And what I am seeking to do is to engage some private sector employers, persons who may be interested in engaging our workers who are already on the government payroll in some decent work. And I know this would fall well with businesses that are now trying to reopen and bounce back from what may have been extended periods of lockdown or their businesses being shuttered. So, of course, I would extend to the private sector employers that we haven't already reached out to reach out to the public service, see if we have employees that we can place based on their skill sets or the needs of your businesses.
She assures, though, that these workers would remain on the government's payroll.
The program in itself, we've always invited private and public to engage the workers. So it would mean that the government they would remain on the payroll, but they would be engaged in decent work in the private sector. If the taxpayers' money is being spent, we should ensure that decent work is engaged, and that's the critical part of the process.
Herd immunity, two words that have floated since COVID vaccination started earlier this year. At the time, former Health Minister Renwood Wells predicted that 120,000 people would have to be vaccinated in the Bahamas for this to happen. However, his initial prediction of this summer was later shifted to Christmas. Here's Health Minister, the Honourable Dr. Michael Darville, on where things stand to date.
Well, first of all, we're about 40, maybe 42% vaccinated in the country. To reach herd immunity, you got to get higher than that. The literature, the scientific literature is there to indicate that there's a possibility that there may be more people in our country with natural immunity. And so to give a number for herd immunity is sort of misleading. But you have so much infection. It really begins to question whether or not we as healthcare professionals should be giving a number of what herd immunity is. But we are going to do our best. We're going to continue with our vaccination program.
Now, Darville accepts that this calls for doing things differently.
And we need to be innovative because many of our large centers are now not receiving the individuals as fast as we want to, and we have broken up into smaller groups to actually take the vaccine directly to the communities. But while that's happening, a lot of planning is going in to find innovative ways on how to get as many people vaccinated in our country as we possibly can.
Now, speaking of vaccinations, local vaccination numbers are slowly increasing. To date, 280,239 COVID-19 vaccines have been administered across the Bahamas, 141,983 first doses, and over 143,000 fully vaccinated. More than 206,000 New Providence residents have gotten the jab, half of them fully vaccinated. Just over 38,000 residents of Grand Bahama have been vaccinated, with 19,191 having gotten double doses. Eleuthera remains the family island with the highest number of vaccinations. That total 10,294. Followed by Abaco, Exuma, Andros, and Bimini. Well, the Bahamas to receive a third tranche of vaccines from the United States. Acting political and economic chief in the U.S. Embassy, Todd B. Sargent, confirming as much. To date, the U.S. has delivered 260,000 doses of COVID vaccines here. A third tranche will bump that number up to 397,000.
We are tracking it closely. Fortunately, as the minister pointed out, the Bahamas is in a good position right now in terms of its supply. But, eventually there will be a third tranche. We do know that. We just don't know exactly when.
Well, still to come, police intercept a human smuggling ring and another airline returns to the Bahamas. Well, we'll be back right after this.
Tune in to the morning edition with LaDawn Davis and Charles Fisher at 7 o'clock weekday mornings. We also have news updates at every hour starting at 2 p.m. You can then watch the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, at 6:30 and the National Report live at 7 p.m. All right here on the ZNS Network.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
You have enough things to worry about. Living in a world that can seem opposite of the things you are trying to accomplish.
I can need a little help with this month, sis.
We're here to let you know that you don't have to go at it alone. Choose peace of mind. Choose comfort. Choose CB. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Across the Bahamas, we're more connected than ever before as we upgrade and expand our network, elevating your connection with BTC Superfast Fiber Internet. More people can access the best high-speed internet on our upgraded all-fiber optic network, providing you with a better experience working remotely, learning virtually, accessing more from home, and connecting with more opportunities. Visit our website or any store to upgrade to our super fast fiber internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
KFC Saucy Wings gives you the choice. A precisely calculated chicken to sauce ratio for that perfect wing experience. Or a totally wild, completely coated sauce adventure that transcends traditional flavor boundaries. Whatever your choice, get sauced with KFC Saucy Wings for the perfect amount of flavor. Saucy Wings at KFC Nassau. So good.
Mama, make the Johnny Cake Christmas coming. Mama, make the Johnny Cake Christmas coming. Christmas coming. Christmas coming. Christmas coming. Christmas coming. Christmas coming. Mama, make the Johnny Cake Christmas coming. Celebrate this Christmas with B.O.D.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
A statement purporting to be released from the Office of the Prime Minister regarding the Samsung online lottery win promo program dismissed as false, and the image attached also a fake. An actual release from the OPM confirms that the statement was not sent. As such, the public's forewarned that falsifying documents from any government agency or ministry is a criminal offense. Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis and Labour and Immigration Minister the Honourable Keith Bell met with union leaders this morning. Present at that meeting, representatives from the hotel sector, immigration and Bahamas Power and Light. Here's what Minister Bell shared with reporters before today's weekly cabinet meeting.
There are a number of agreements that have many outstanding issues. Pay, issues related to wage, hours of work, overtime, etc. And so all of those matters are we going to be discussing today. We would have signed an MOU with the union, and the Prime Minister, he is leading from the front, and that was the reason why he actually went there himself with me by his side to demonstrate to them that we intend as a government to live up to our obligations.
Outstanding accounts leave Bahamas Power and Light more than $100 million in the red. CEO Whitney Hasty yesterday referenced that the company reverted to its original disconnection policy last June. That policy accommodated people during the COVID-19 pandemic to pay a 25% balance on disconnected accounts and the remainder over a 12-month period. While there's no saying whether this policy, combined with regular delinquent accounts, are behind the debt and BPL's receivables, Hasty says officials draw back the connection policy for one main reason.
What we found was those who were disconnected, whether it be, and they came back on with 50% down in 6 months or 25% down and 12 months to pay, it made little difference. That the pattern of individuals who were disconnected initially remained the same. It was not long after that they were put back on the grid, even with 12 months to pay.
Hasty went on to list the slight adjustment made given the volume of people faced with disconnections.
Since June of last year, once the 3-month ban was ended, we resume our normal disconnection. Typically, it has been $300, anything over $300, but there has been so many customers, it has been anyone over $500 that you're targeted for. I think $500 in 3 months, you're targeted for disconnection.
Reports of suspicious activity leading to the latest crackdown on criminal activity here in the capital, with officers taking in a significant number of suspects allegedly involved in a trafficking ring. Anthony Smith has the story.
This is believed to be a smuggling ring.
The infamous sand trap on West Bay Street, the exact location where police officers intercepted more than 30 people believed to be behind the human smuggling ring. Reports say it was shortly after 8 when locals phoned in a tip, police arriving on scene to find 5 boats perched at a dock and several people fleeing.
The officers managed to capture a number of those persons. However, 2 of those boats were able to make good their escape with a number of persons on board. At last calculation, officers would have arrested some 31 persons, which is inclusive of 2 Romanian nationals, 8 Cubans, 8 Colombians, 6 Jamaicans, and 7 Bahamians.
Today, that official count stands at 32, and while officers of the Marine Unit were dispatched in pursuit of the getaway vessels, today those 2 boats and the persons on them remain at large. Now, according to police press liaison Audley Peters, investigators will do their due diligence to determine whether the incident is consistent with an illegal entry.
If they're not, then the matter would be transferred to the Immigration Department, who would have to take a course of action and bring them before the court. With respect to the matter concerning the human trafficking, the officers at the Criminal Investigations Department would have to interview everyone and see what information that is gleaned to determine who are the players in this incident and bring the necessary persons to justice.
And as officials admonish human traffickers, they're also applauding residents.
What we see here tonight is the cooperation of our citizenry to report suspicious matters and the police acting, and we were able to arrest, like I said, a number of persons, and we'll see where this investigation takes us. And we ask the members of the public to continue to bring forth the information, and we will act upon them. And where the evidence leads us, we will bring those persons, put the persons before the court, and see that justice prevails.
The investigation continues. Anthony Smith, ZNS Network News.
A missing persons report issued for Mauricia Joseph. The 16-year-old was last seen on Thursday, November 19th, between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. Police say the teen's dark-skinned, between 5'8" and 6 feet tall, with a medium build. Anyone with information on the Comfort Street resident's whereabouts should call the Criminal Investigation Department at 502-9991 or 2, or the Eleuthera Division at 332-2111 or 332-2117. The Ministry of Tourism is going all out to welcome Virgin Atlantic back to the Bahamas. The flight from London's Heathrow International Airport is set to arrive shortly after 2 p.m. tomorrow. The twice-weekly services from London to the Bahamas comes as Virgin responds to pent-up demand from British consumers looking for a relaxing holiday to a sunny Caribbean destination. Virgin Atlantic's country manager for the Caribbean, Hannah Swift, says many Brits are eager to vacation in the Bahamas.
what we've noticed in the last sort of 18 months whilst the pandemic has hit the world is that people sitting in the UK, they want to spend a little bit more, they want to stay a little bit longer, they want to upgrade and have a real luxury holiday, which we know the Bahamas offers in abundance. So look out tomorrow, there'll be lots of very happy people walking around Nassau.
Virgin Atlantic will also ensure its passengers and crew adhere to COVID-19 protocols.
Increased cleanings throughout the entire journey from our check-in and obviously on board we have what's called a HEPA filter on board, which essentially refreshes the entire air on board every 2 to 3 minutes. You're always breathing kind of new fresh air. We have hospital grade sanitary methods when we're cleaning, and we also have these wonderful health kits that each and every passenger gets on board. So in there you've got some masks, some hand sanitizer and some wipes. So even when you're on board you can stay safe, give everything an extra clean if you need to, or just wipe yourself off after lunch or whatever you need to do. We provide those for you on board as well.
Israel's non-resident ambassador to the Bahamas, His Excellency Jital, making his first official visit to the country this week. In fact, it's his first trip to the Caribbean. After landing in New Providence from his home base in Mexico this past Sunday, he spent all day Monday paying courtesy calls on the Prime Minister and the Ministers of Works, Foreign Affairs, Agriculture and Health. Today, he spent the final day of his tour in Grand Bahama. He told our news team in an interview last evening that over the past year, the Israeli government has adopted a new approach to sustaining its global diplomatic relationships.
Instead of addressing issues that would come up at a certain point in time, we are now into what we call a political dialogue, which means looking at the broader picture, talking about issues related to the political character of our relationship, but also about cooperation, and not only technical assistance, but really sustainable long-term cooperation in agriculture, in health, also in homeland security, for example. I mean, we talked about cyber, we talked about a wide area of issues.
COVID-19 also discussed during his meeting with the Minister of Health. Israel has made international headlines for its successful COVID-19 vaccination campaign.
When the vaccination campaign started, every citizen was registered, had a digital medical file. So it was quite easy to include these new data and to monitor the development. And these files are accessible to private physicians, to hospitals, both public and private. And I understood that it's a model of interest to the Bahamas.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
COVID-19 attacked our personal and national psyche. We fought back. We adjusted our consciousness so that we could wrap our minds around the impossible and unbelievable things we were going through. But guess what? Nobody escaped. That means there was nobody who was too pretty, too cute, too important, too holy, or too rich to escape the mental trauma and battering of COVID-19. We can allow COVID-19 to destroy us or defeat us, or we can make a decision right now to act in a manner that supports wellness for ourselves and for the nation. So let's act to restore and sustain our personal sense of well-being and our national mental health status. We're all involved. It's that important.
Do you want to travel this holiday season? Don't want to miss out on those blockbuster deals? Well, have you gotten your COVID-19 vaccine yet? Time is running out to travel for the holidays, and the Johnson & Johnson vaccine may be just what you need. It's one and done. Just one jab of this vaccine, and 2 weeks later, you're fully vaccinated and ready to shop. Protect yourself and your loved ones this holiday season. Schedule your vaccine appointment now.
Life is better with Rubis Rewards. Just fuel up and swipe for your chance to win free fuel, cash back in our stores, restaurant and store discounts from our partners, plus prizes and surprises. It doesn't get better than this. Your Rubis Reward tag is free at every Rubis service station in New Providence. Get yours today. Rubis, it's just better.
ISL Bahamas is a software development company. We provide payroll software and services for over 500 companies. Using ISL Payroll, our clients are able to produce accurate and timely national insurance contribution statements for posting to their NIB accounts. The beauty in NIB's employer self-service portal is that our clients have the power to upload these statements directly into NIB's system, eliminating the manual process which results in delay in posting to our client's account. We are working hand in hand with NIB to ensure that our clients are registered for the ESS portal and know how to use it. I look forward to further technology, innovation, and progress from NIB. You should sign up today at ess@nib-bahamas.com.
The role of women in society observed during National Women's Week, which will feature 16 days of activism under the theme Healing the Bahamas Through Better Relationships. Charles Fisher has more on the activities to eliminate violence against women.
We've heard people rowing in their families in their house. We've heard children getting beating. We ourselves have been beaten, and we accept that as a cultural norm. Right? It's not until somebody dies and all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, but we've known for many years that there's incest in our country on certain family islands. What have we done? People protest and make noise about it, but we are needing to change some of the laws.
Mentality of most persons is that once it don't affect me, I should not bother.
That is some of the mentality, but the truth is it is affecting you, right? Because when there's violence in a home that escalates to violence in the community, we pay. How do we pay? Now, how many tourists want to come to a place where there's gender-based violence? Then it spills over into our economy, and this is where, if we are blacklisted, people are concerned, right? Oh, the economy is being blacklisted, but they do not understand that all of these are part of the challenges. We do have persons who are living in challenging situations that frustrate them. They can't get a job. And when you're not able to find gainful employment, there's going to be robbery and crime. All of that deteriorates the economy and the environment for you. If you live out west, if you live out east, if you live Life-a-Key, you now spend more money for what? Security. And guess what? They still break in. And you afraid. Why? It ain't important to you? Really? Okay, well, if you keep that, you will be spending more money on these items compared to spending money on prevention. When we come to understand that the neighbor's children, the neighbor's wife, the neighbor's family members are like our own, then we will see the whole fabric.
All the focus on women. Men feel that if they report violence, they are seen as not macho, and it goes unnoticed.
Well, that's not true, you know, and I want to correct this. The Department of Gender and Family Affairs is about all genders, male, female, transgender, and we have lost our focus on taking care of the men. The women have been elevated. Men are being abused. Men have been abused. We want to address violence among men because that's where it starts. This bullying, this attitude that is part of being a man in the Bahamian culture. And if we can address that, then we can address violence against women, violence against children.
Then there is one thing Dr. Philippe says can make a change, and it's on our culture.
We must start in our own personal relationships with each other, healing the Bahamas by better relationships in the way we communicate. Usually our language is very violent, very rude, very disrespectful. And it's changing the cultural norms personally that is going to make the difference.
For the ZNS Network News, I'm Charles Fisher.
Well, for many, the prospect is frightening, but menopause is as much a part of a woman's life as puberty. In this week-long series, our LaDawn Davis talks to a young woman about what triggered her early battle with this natural lifestyle adjustment.
November 9th was when I went under surgery to have fibroids removed. During the surgery, I had a full hysterectomy. And so I instantly went into menopause.
It's been 8 long years since mother of one, Santina Smith, has been feeling the brunt of her early menopausal experience. The now 46-year-old says she had no idea what she was up against after having a life-altering surgery. A journey, she says, introduced her to some irritable symptoms.
Hot flashes, like I'm having a flash now, as I have my fan. Always carry my fan. Hot flashes, the brain fog. Irritability, like the anxiousness, the anxiety, definitely the weight gain is crazy, and it's like almost like 100 times harder to get the weight off. It's just this stubborn weight. I've also had skin rashes. I've had a little hair loss, but not too much.
But the biggest symptom of all for Santina was mood swings that she believes put a major dent in several aspects of her personal life.
I think what helped me is learning what I was going through. Not thinking anymore that I was going crazy because of the mood swings, which are like on 100 every day. Very indecisive, and it affected my business somewhat in that way, because you just keep on flipping and flopping. You really don't have that drive and the energy.
But this is where it gets interesting. Menopause is not hereditary among the women in Santina's closely knitted family. However, she is of the view that other women can experience similar scenarios.
My mom, she seemingly went through it without any issues. My grandmother the same, and my aunts. I think I have one aunt who's experiencing a little something, but my sisters, no. And they're all older than me and not experiencing anything.
Santina gave this tidbit of advice to all Bahamian women.
Learn about what you're going through, but still not take it on. Definitely, it's mind over matter.
LaDawn Davis, ZNS Network News.
Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us.
We elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, we elevate, elevate, we elevate.
The magic of Christmas starts this Friday, November 27th at 6 a.m. at our Southwest Plaza. Now, the deals will be wild this Black Friday, but the good news is that the magic of Christmas and many of our hard-to-beat offers last all holiday season long.
Christmas is just a magical time, and we just feel so good about the season. And what we did was we started from November 1st. Every week, our customers were able to get some wonderful deals, whether it's prepaid or whether it's postpaid. And of course, we always have a great internet bundle deal. We're really excited about our Christmas campaign. You're going to see that collaboration between Spice and Ray Culmer. You're going to see so much wonderful things happening in our stores. You can look at the Christmas decor in the store, and it tells you that we're feeling Christmas. We're definitely sharing the magic of Christmas this year. So when customers come into our stores and they make a purchase, they get the opportunity to put their their hand in the grab bag, they could win anything from Samsung accessories to gift cards. Just wonderful prizes every time they make a purchase. It's paid. You can get the iPhone Mini 12 for as low as $199.99. So we have great deals. Those persons who are still working from home, students who are still homeschooling, we have internet package that's best suited for you. You get 150 megs of speed, and you also get 157 channels. When you want to take a break, relax, and you want some entertainment to watch wonderful movies on Flow TV. So we have wonderful, wonderful specials this Christmas. Those persons who want to come on down and take advantage of all of our phone specials, come on down to BTC. We're here open for you. We've extended our hours for Christmas and Black Friday. Once you get to our Southwest Plaza store at 6 a.m. in the morning, you're able to purchase your gifts at 70% off.
These are still the moments that move us. I'm Corbell Pyfrom. Happy holidays. Be well and be back here. Next, BTC Connection.
Having a policy with Bahama Health is more than just health insurance. It's about feeling good knowing that your health and wellness is covered. It's about the confidence you feel knowing that your card is accepted by over 50 pharmacies and 400 local doctors. It's about peace of mind, knowing that when you travel, you have comprehensive coverage and our overseas partner is just a phone call away. It's about the security you feel, knowing that you're an important part of the family.
Join the family. When you want to save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you want to look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
Shell Unleaded improves your fuel economy, giving increased miles per gallon, allowing you to do more of what you really want. Special additives used in Shell Unleaded improve your engine's efficiency. So go further with Shell Unleaded. Venture out to beaches, junkanoo, and festivals and memories that will last a lifetime. Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
There's been much talk about it. A discussion Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, the Honourable Chester Cooper, would tell you has gone on far too long. Still, he's optimistic about the fate of Grand Bahama's beleaguered Grand Lucayan Resort.
I can tell you that we are close to resolution in relation to that specific matter. RCL is a long-standing partner of the Bahamas. They've been here for 50 years. They've recently launched new ships. Last week, we welcomed a new cruise line to the Bahamas. They have other interests in Grand Bahama. They have other interests in Nassau as well. So, you know, when there is a marriage, as long as the one we have with RCL, every day isn't going to be Sunday.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makishla. Outside of our studios, we are under partly cloudy skies, temperature 73 degrees, a relative humidity at 56%. The winds are out of the north-northeast at 15 miles per hour. Your barometric pressure, 1,015.0 millibars, is 29.97 inches, and the pressure is steady. Temperatures around the islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 72s in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Green Turtle Key, and Marsh Harbor, Abaco, the Berry Islands at 74. 69 already in Alistown, Bimini, 75 degrees in Harbor Island. Rock Sound, Eleuthera, 76. 76 also in Black Point, Exuma, and Camp Space at Andros, and Fresh Creek and Central Andros as well. 77s in Otterstown, Cadalla, San Salvador, and Rum Key, Georgetown, 71. 79 degrees. Ragged Island, Clarenstown, Long Island, Crooked Island, 79s there. Betsy Bay, Megorn, and Acklands, 80. Matthew Town, Nago, 82. And the Turks and Caicos Islands also at 82 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of F5P, the Tile King, and the Paint Setter. For all areas tonight, the winds are going to be northerly, 15 to 20 knots, wave fights 4 to 7 feet, caution flags are up throughout the 700 Isles. High tide will take place at 10:20 tonight. And then tomorrow, once again, for all areas, the winds become north to northeast, so you'll have that clockwise rotation. Speeds unchanged, though, 15 to 20 knots, and the wave heights 4 to 7 feet, meaning we will maintain the caution flags through tomorrow. High tide will take place at 10:44 tomorrow morning, with your low tide occurring at 5:20 in the afternoon. Now, as we go into Thursday, in the northwestern islands, the winds start to fall off, blowing out of the northeast at 12 to 18 knots, wave heights subsiding 3 to 6 feet. High tide, 11:29 Thursday morning, low tide at 6:07 in the afternoon. For the central and southeastern islands on Thursday, winds northeast to east, 15 to 20 knots, wave heights 4 to 7 feet, meaning we will maintain the caution flag at least for the central and southeast Bahamas through Thursday. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. International Temperatures brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned. The extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Do you want to travel this holiday season? Don't want to miss out on those blockbuster deals? Well, have you gotten your COVID-19 vaccine yet? Time is running out to travel for the holidays, and the Johnson & Johnson vaccine may be just what you need. It's one and done. Just one jab of this vaccine, and 2 weeks later, you're fully vaccinated and ready to shop. Protect yourself and your loved ones this holiday season. Schedule your vaccine appointment now.
Everything is changing, and your favorite hardware and home improvement store is getting with the program. We Buy You Sell is rolling out its new online shopping feature. If you go to our website, wbusbahamas.com, it's a quick and easy 3-step process. Step 1, browse the gallery and select your item. Step 2, add to cart. And Step 3, check out. Go to our website, wbusbahamas.com, to shop with us today.
That's why we got the...
Your trust is paramount. By believing in us, you believe in the best. Thank you for trusting in us to provide you with a superb customer experience and for trusting our products. As we celebrate 5 years of Alive, I look forward to many more years of innovation and leading the industry with our products and services, all to maintain your trust.
There's something so special and genuine about putting a smile on someone's face during a difficult time. It's one of those feelings I reflect on most during our 5-year anniversary. During the pandemic and the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian, we worked in your community to provide relief in any way we could. We look forward to spreading the joy to you, whether it's through community events or customer-focused solution. We're here for you. Thank you for believing in BEST.
Throughout our lifetime, we must all make decisions. No matter how we choose, the right one just needs to be made. Like having J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers as your insurance partner. We've been serving the Bahamas for over 100 years. Whether you need home, motor, marine, or commercial insurance, make the right decision. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance. Peace of mind.
This portion of the news brought to you by Genuine Care, keeping you home while you're away. This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to sports. The
Bahamas Basketball Federation holding a press conference today to announce the 14-man team that will represent the Bahamas in the Dominican Republic starting November 26th in the latest window of the FIBA AmeriCup's 2023 World Cup qualifiers. The team will comprise of Michael Carey, Shaquan Lewis, Dominic Bridgewater, J.R. Cadot, Kimsey Sylvester, Michael Thompson, Travis Munnings, Willis Mackey Jr., Rashad Davis, David Nesbitt, Mark St. Fort, Kentwan Smith, and Shaquille Fritz. Serving as head coach for the first time will be Moses Johnson, who will be assisted by Dexter Cambridge and Anthony Vereen. The team manager will be Alvaro Kemp. The trainer will be Eugenia Patton. And the COVID protocol officer will be Eugene Bain Sr. Johnson says the team is confident heading into the DR.
We believe in each other. From the coaching standpoint, the federation, the players, they believe in each other that they can accomplish the goals set out for us. We also believe that you, the public, will be behind us and give us that added boost as we go into a foreign country to compete against one of the top teams in the world.
Veteran guard Mike Carey on the team's chemistry.
Being able to play pickup, you build chemistry that way. It doesn't always going to happen like as soon as you have practice. You Team USA, DR, Canada, these guys play with each other year round. So having facilities, during the time, even during COVID, you're able to play with these guys. So you build chemistry. Everyone, I play with Mark Stanford, I play with Shaquan, I play with Dominic Bridgewater, I play with JR when I was younger. I played with all these guys before, and JR is the same way. So we know each other's game. We know what each other likes. We know what each other don't likes. And then it's more so personality-wise, too. That's a big part of it.
And with a slew of injuries to some of the team's major frontline players, J.R. Cadot and his mindset heading into the showdown with a tough Canadian squad.
Mindset, it's simple. It's to go and win. And we had a brief meeting last night with the team on Zoom. We keyed on the things that we have to do as a team to take care of business, and so that's what we're focused on. We're not too much focused on what they're going to do. We're focused on what we have to do as individuals, collectively, and both individual and the court to win.
And for the first time in several years, due to his new post, Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, the Honorable Mario Bolag will no longer be roaming the sidelines, but he says he has faith in the system and coaching staff that he's left in place.
I might have been separate and apart, but still I check on them every now and then. I've had a meeting with the coaching staff separate, and I had a meeting with the players separate just to give them words of encouragement and letting them understand that change is always coming, but you have to be able to accept the change and be able to adapt to the change, and that was most important. I wanted to make sure that the players and the coaches understand that, having that familiar voice and faces on the bench all of these years. When you look at the makeup with new coach Moses Johnson, now the head coach Dexter coming back, who coached with me in 2006 years ago, but has a lot of experience in basketball and played at the highest level. And then we also have Coach Anthony, who's one of the coaches in the G League with the Golden State Warriors, and Chris Abson, who will also accompany the team that give them that support that they need on the coaching staff.
Cameron Minter's long three-pointer in the final seconds came up short as Tulane held off Drexel 90-87 in overtime on Monday night. In the first game, the Balmar Hoops Nassau Championship held at the Balmar Convention Center. The game, which was scheduled for 2:30, was delayed, but was restarted several hours later on a secondary court. Action continuing tonight at the Balmar Convention Center. That was a look at sports. Check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
What you see on this television station is governed by IRCA's Code of Practice for Content Regulation. The Code of Practice covers matters relating to program content that are of concern to the community, such as local content, news, current affairs, and programs for children, advertising, including political advertisements, and the responsibilities associated with broadcasting in the Bahamas. The code also covers aspects such as access services for the hearing and visually impaired, and the procedure for lodging a complaint about anything broadcasted by this television station. The code is available on IRCA's website at www.ircabahamas.bs. To receive a copy of the code by mail or in person, you may telephone IRCA at 242-393-0234. Family Island dialing is toll-free at 242-300-8722. Or you may send a request by email to info@ircabahamas.bs.
Super value and quality supermarkets have all your favorite brands and no limits. Muller's cut macaroni, 16-ounce, 2 for $3.79. Hunt's ketchup, 32-ounce, $2.79. Chicken leg quarters, 10-pound bag, 89 cents per pound. Yellow onions, 3-pound bag, $2.89. Pork chop ends, $2.39 per pound. 15 VAT-free items in this week's specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Best rate, no delay. Best rate, no delay.
BTC gives more savings on the best fiber internet. It's super fast with super savings in every package. Compare and see for yourself. Enjoy the best home internet experience for all your work, study, and entertainment.
Best rate, no delay. Best rate, no delay.
Visit a BTC store to sign up for the best internet experience on the Bahamas' best fiber network.
The natural resources of the Bahamas play a critical role in supporting Bahamian livelihoods. For example, the fishing and tourism industry, which include fishermen, seafood exporters, hoteliers, dive operators, restaurants, and others. Collectively, they generate approximately $1.5 billion a year. Therefore, we must respect and preserve what we have. These resources belong to us.
This is my livelihood.
This is my livelihood.
This is my livelihood.
So let's all do our part to maintain our local economy and a good quality of life. Remember, if we take care of nature, nature will take care of us.
As an artist, I travel all over the world and I find inspiration all around me. From the people and especially the environment. I love the Bahamas with all its natural beauty. From Abaco in the north to Inagua in the south and all the wonderful and colorful islands in between. But we must all do our part to keep the Bahamas healthy and clean, now and for the future generations. That's why I want you to find a little time to do your part. I'm doing my part because I care. Do you?
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, our satellite pictures showing that frontal system is now approaching the southeast Bahamas, so there will be some showers around the Crooked Island, Acklands area, and they will be spreading into Maygona, and eventually by tomorrow morning, some of those showers should reach the Inagua area as well. Behind that, high pressure is building, meaning those winds are going to be somewhat on the stiff side, and that will continue for the next couple of days. Our forecast for tonight, we're going in for partly cloudy and breezy conditions with a shower in place late, meaning you may or may not get those showers. They'll be very much isolated. The low temperature, however, getting down to a cool 68 degrees tonight. And tomorrow, we're looking at partly sunny and breezy with a passing shower possible. High tomorrow, 77 degrees, and your extended weather forecast, we're going to keep you in the 70s right into Thursday. The winds then swing out of the northeast, and that will modify our air a bit, so those temperatures will warm up just slightly. But then comes Saturday. There's another weak frontal system that will move into the area Saturday evening. That will bring the temperatures back down below the 80-degree mark, and then things will start warming up slightly as we head into the early part of next week. But the good news is we're going to keep you into the 60s right into Sunday, so you could take those sweaters out because you might need them, and particularly particularly up in the extreme northwest Bahamas, around Freeport, Grand Bahama. Those temperatures are going to be in the low 60s. Makishla.
That sounds good, Basil. That does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. And as we celebrate our 44th year of television broadcasting, it feels great to be your home. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
It's real crazy, man. I was sitting down at a team meeting at about 11:30, and I swear to you, we were just talking about where I wanted to be in the next 6 months, next year, what the plans were for Julian Believe, and the future, where I saw myself. And kid you not, I checked my email, and there was this message from, this guy named Mike and Donna, and they were saying how they was a part of the whole Miss World organization, and honestly, I thought it was a joke. I was like, Ashton Kutcher, come out, because this can't be for real.
And Miss Bahamas comes on and does the Caribbean slide in her costume. And we were like, oh, that's such a great track. It would be great. And John was like, oh, it'd be amazing if we could get that track for the show. So that's how it all started.
Can you imagine getting up one morning and seeing that email? You'd be like...
Yeah. Scrolled up, and I saw Miss Chantel O'Brien, the Miss Bahamas. I was like, this is crazy. So I automatically give it to my team members, and I was like, yo, y'all check this out. Tell me what you think. And at that moment, we knew we were going to Miss World.
I wanna live and wine. Jumpstart the party 'cause I'm feeling right. If everybody throw your hands up high.
2.5 days to get here, so I at least wanted to see what the people are doing, make sure I'm behaving. My friend is all over the place. But it's cool. We just rob over here. So rehearsals off the chain and just watch, see it. So you don't like it. Alright, before I do the world.
I know why you came to this place. You're breathing, so celebrate. You might as well demonstrate. If you're screaming out, stop, I say. Hear them say, my boule. Dance them cares away. Jumpstart the party 'cause I'm feeling right. If everybody throw your hands up high. No need to worry, gonna lose your mind. Dance with somebody, just call me on my cell phone. Anytime you need my love. Call me on my cell phone. Anytime you need my love. And I like it enough.
Move to the left, move to the right. That feeling itself is like, you cannot even buy that. You can't even buy this opportunity. So to be blessed and to have the universe, send this amazing opportunity my way just means so much to me. It's surreal. Like, I'm here, but I'm not really here, we did it. That's how I feel like, if you really work hard and you believe in yourself, things can happen. And it doesn't matter what it is or what you do. If you have that confidence in something that you can't see that, hey, this is gonna come to pass no matter how long it takes, it's gonna happen. Just gotta put those 10,000 hours in.
Well, as much as you have practiced and done this over and over, done the Caribbean slide over and over, it is always good to be mentally and physically prepared. So I like the fact that you've been spending a bit of solitude on your own to focus on what you need to do. All eyes are going to be on you, not just on the contestants. You are the opening number, and you will set the mood and the tone for what is to come throughout the show. So your music will be the upbeat and up-tempo of how the mood will flow from there.
It's a gift. that you can't buy. It's a gift from the universe. It's a gift from God that you cannot buy this. You can have a bunch of contacts and still don't get this. For me to be a stranger in a country on the other side of the world, 21 miles long, 7 miles wide, and be good enough to be here, it's humbling for me. The only thing I could do is get down on my knees and pray. I mean, you work so hard. Like, it is so difficult as a musician, as an artist, especially growing up in the Bahamas, to make it successful, to make it internationally, and to be able to garner that kind of support and attention that you need to be a star. So for me, I felt like this was bigger than me. It wasn't even about me. I felt grateful, like my country, surprisingly. I felt like, yo, we as a country have a shot at the world seeing us. And when you know that you have access to 1 billion people at one time, one platform, I think this was Bahamian history for me. You know, this was Caribbean history. You know, and I just was proud about that. I just felt great.
All my sexy ladies, hold me to the movie, yeah. All of my fellas, show them you can use it. Everybody to the left, to the left, everybody to the left. Move to the left, move to the right, move to the right, now move to the left, move to the right. Jump up, move to the left, now move to the right, move to the right, move to the right. Jump up, and wind down, wind down, wind down. Jump up, and wind down.
Yeah, y'all, we just finished tearing up the stage, right? It felt so good to be received by those folks out there and to the millions of viewers at home, billions of viewers at home. It feels so good to represent the 240 right now. That's a dream come true. A very big stage. Have 200 girls performing the Caribbean slide with me. Yo, this is it. This is the beginning, Bahamas. This is our moment. This is our time. It feels so good. Feel good to make my parents proud. Feel good to be able to make the country proud. And I just want to shout out everybody right now who've been behind this movement from day one. This is our time, Bahamas. Miss World 2015 and beyond. We're getting ready to head there. We're taking this to the world. Get ready.
Everybody just move to the left, move to the left, move to the right, move to the right, move to the left, move to the right. Jump up and wind up.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Agriculture Now. I'm Carla Palmer. We are here on Gladstone Road at the annual Agribusiness Expo 2019. It's one of the biggest events on stakeholders' calendars and touted as one not to be missed. And so we are here as an industry partner. Locally grown produce of fresh fruits and vegetables, preservatives, authentically made arts and crafts, livestock, and much more are showcased at the Agribusiness Expo each year. It is here where participants with big smiles assemble, welcoming spectators into their space and to open their wallets in exchange of items made here in the Bahamas.
I have my bag full because I have a son in a wheelchair and I'm trying to find food to blend for him. And I was able to find plenty of stuff that I was surprised that I couldn't find, and I found it that I could blend it and give it to him for juice.
I happened to be going to church to do some stuff, and I stopped by. And the minute I stopped, I was introduced to Exuma honey, organic. And I didn't come to buy this, but I was forced to buy it because I have roots in eczema from the Nixons and the Rolls and the Smith, more so from Farmer's eczema. And so I bought this and walking around. I love her presentation. It's really excellent.
Each year at the Agribusiness Expo, it gets bigger and reportedly better.
I have to come over here more often. This is my first time here, and I enjoyed it. It's very nice. For the time we were here, I think it's gorgeous.
What we did, we made provision for 5% more, which would be approximately 7 to 10 additional tents. And we have our vendor on site in case somebody wants an additional tent. They'll be able to source it right there on site. I've been involved with so many events, but this one is so unique because I get an opportunity to work with so many persons, bringing it all together.
When we come back, we will hear more from the man spearheading his team behind the scenes, who was responsible for the entire setup at the expo. You are watching Agriculture Now. Welcome back to Agriculture Now. For a consecutive 3 days of another year, industry professionals in agriculture meet at what's commonly known as the Farmers Market site on Gladstone Road to showcase their goods of authentic Bahamian items made right here in the Bahamas. Stall after stall line the site in a manner more obviously organized than the previous year. This vendor was quick to point out.
The setup this year, I think, is really good. I like how they have it set up because they don't have all the food in one area. They have it like all over the place. They don't have everybody in one area. So now people, when they come, instead of just going straight to the back for food and that's it, they have to go looking for food over here. Let me see what over here. Let me see what over here. So they have an option more to look around and see what they want instead of just getting everything in one area.
This is not an event for the ministry to make money, but we actually want to set up a village where all those participating will be the ones who would see the financial benefit of participating. This is my first year being involved with it, and it's really, really, really exciting.
Wilmot plays a crucial role in ensuring that the backdrop of the expo is detailed and executed as planned.
There's a lot goes on in the background that most people don't really know about. But my job is really to pull the whole event together today with the logistics of this event. From tents, coordinating with artisans and vendors and all of the sound engineers. I have to deal with the sanitation, I have to deal with security, everything that involves a festival or an expo. We started about 4 months ago. And what we did, we have weekly meetings. Planning is key. So I always tell people, if you want to be successful, you actually have to put everything on paper. First of all, the planning stage starts with us meeting together, brainstorming, because no one person have all of the ideas, all of the answers. Exactly what we wanted to accomplish, but you had to take it in steps. Pulling everybody together in terms of making those calls, in terms of, like I said, the tent guy. You had to make sure that environmental health was on site. We had the cleaning. We had a local contractor who came down 1 week before, and he made sure that all of the debris was away from the park. And in addition to that, he's going to come probably about 2 hours at 6 o'clock in the morning on the morning of the event to just give that little last minute cleanup so everything can look really, really bright and new when you walk in there. Part of a 40-member planning committee of the 2019 Agri Expo, Wilmot,
who was directly responsible for leading a team of 7, says approximately 200 persons worked behind the scenes in preparation for the event each day. When we come back,
oh, this event is just so encouraging and motivating to know that, all of these things that we can.
Marine habitats. And the good news is that most Bahamians strongly support efforts to halt further decline. Tripling the size of our network of marine parks will mean more fun for the future, as well as more recreational and ecotourism opportunities. Today, only 10% of our waters are protected. Surveys show that most Bahamians consider protection of our marine environment to be a top national priority. More protection means